All right, and we will see if people are able to hear us. Hello, hello. If chat is out there, can you let me know if you're able to hear my wonderful voice, see the video going on? I'll update the title while we wait for people to respond.
Should we tweet it on Twitch? Can you pass Vivian? Thanks.
And come join us for a live interview with the. And your official title for the game was vocalist and is it vocalist and narrator, or is there a specific title?
Vocalists and narrators. Great.
Okay. From the series. There we go. Hello, Sword. Hello, Fatal. Are you guys able to see everything okay? Are you able to see the overlay with the game, myself, and the lovely Miss Donna Burke, who is with us right now? Want to make sure we're getting a clear output before we start up on the interview. Everything looks fine. Awesome. Donna, would you be willing to give me just a quick audio sample? Just introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Donna Burke. I love the sound of my own voice.
Isn't that why we all get in this career one way or another?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think we are all set to go, so I will go ahead and begin this officially. Donna, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it with us. How is the weather over there in Japan right now?
It's hot and humid.
I can empathize directly. I was there in 2016 for Comic-Con, and I believe it was right around the end of August. And the one thing I remember distinctly was having to sit, what do they call them, those particle air conditioners, the specific AC units. And right around 4, 5, 6 p.m., those were my only lifeline.
Yeah, it's a shocker. It's especially growing up in Perth in Western Australia, where it's this really dry heat.
Yeah.
So it'd be 35 degrees, but it'd feel the sweat would just evaporate. But here it's only 30 degrees, but it feels like 45. Nasty.
You've been living in Japan since 1996, I believe it was. So
that's right. Yeah.
What led to you moving out there for the long term?
Wanting to try my luck in the big world and leave suburban life as a school teacher and see if I could achieve my dream of being a famous singer and actor.
Was there something specific about Japan that inspired you to move there, or was this more of a, I just want to be out of my element and be somewhere foreign, somewhere different?
I think it was the second. Yeah. I fortunately, I've never had any culture shock, or some people who are real Japanophiles and then they come here and they're really disappointed. I had no expectations. So I was like, oh, and people, oh, the culture shock after a year, it never happened to me because I've just loved it.
It's got to be quite a change, moving from Australia all the way to Japan. Is there anything in all the time that you've spent there? It's funny that we mention, memories, because the whole concept of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is based around, the idea of memories acting as a power source, and how losing memories over time kind of feeds these spiritual beings. Are there things about Japan that you feel you've grown more attached to that you didn't feel as strong in Australia, and vice versa? Are there things about Australia that still stay with you because you miss them, and you don't quite get that same experience living in Japan?
Totally. I think that you put it really well. You can't get good ramen in Australia. I never go to a Japanese restaurant in Australia because it's just a huge disappointment.
Right.
And the level of service and the way people clean tables I love Australia. And then when I'm in Japan, I really miss the ocean and the beach, the cold water, of course my family, and that really just the Australian sense of humor, which is probably why I've got lots of Australians in my work life, because and Americans and British people and New Zealanders and Irish people, because we just share this same sense of humor, which a lot of Japanese have got a great sense of humor, but because my Japanese is so bad.
Are you a big fan of like the Japanese types of comedy shows where they often like put their contestants in really weird situations? Does that vibe with you, or no?
I never watch TV. No.
Now, is it
Yeah.
is it difficult? You just mentioned that you don't know very much Japanese at all. Has there been a level of personal interest in trying to learn Japanese, even if that expands your career skill set?
Definitely not for my career, just for my personal life. And I tried for 8 years, and I went to schools, and it's just not my talent. And I've got other talents, like I can make very nice toast, I can clean a house, I can play tennis at a fairly good level. I can't speak Japanese, and that's fine. Other
Tennis?
people, that's their thing.
You mentioned tennis. Tennis is a personal favorite sport of yours?
Once in 10 years when I play it, I think I'm pretty bloody good at it. So, yeah, I like tennis. That's smash, but I don't get to do it much. But
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just funny that you mentioned it, because tennis happened to be, I was a big swimmer back in high school, but tennis, I've always been a person who got inspired by video games. Playing video games and pretending to voice the characters is actually what kind of introduced me to voiceover before I knew about it. But a game called Mario Tennis for Game Boy Color is what introduced me to the sport of tennis. And because of the game, I was like, I want to try this out. And that's how I ended up playing tennis throughout all of middle and high school. So actually that segues really nicely into my first question. So do you consider yourself an equal singer voice actor? Do you do mostly singing with a little bit of voice acting? What would you say your focus is in when it comes to your career at the moment?
that's a really good question. I think singing is acting, and their singing is so on a much higher emotional, psychic level than most voice acting, and also just the medium of music, and so definitely singing. If I couldn't sing again, that would be really sad. If I couldn't voice act again, but I could still sing, then I'm still acting the way. So it's
okay. So you're saying between the two, singing is definitely more important to you in general?
It's more impactful. So as a voice actor, you'll get a list of words.
Yep.
But it's not like you. Okay. It's just a different. It's more transactional.
Right. Do you?
And
Go ahead.
Some voice actors are probably saying, "You cow," don't denigrate my. But I don't mean to be denigrating voice acting, because I think I love it's fun.
No, not at all.
It's not with the music. Just adds a whole different level.
Of course, no, and actually, I didn't see that as all. A lot of people who know me know that I am very, very admiring and respectful of just artists in general, because the whole idea with artists is, as a voice actor, I'm often hired to give voice to something that already exists. But artists and singers have to take I'll start with artists and move on to yours, but artists have an idea in their heads, and using their body, their crafting tools, their art tools, they are able to take what start as just neurons in their brain, as these little images, and make them tangible products that the rest of the world can experience. You, as a singer, as you just mentioned, you're able to take what are basically just words and a melody, and you can combine them through your delivery of the vocals into an experience that it transcends just the words, just the music, into a story.
Thank you. Keep talking, Sean. I'm feeling very powerful and amazing now. Just this is balm to my ego.
Well, let me jump up to that. So for people who are just tuning in, the main reason why we're bringing you in here is because of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition, which just came out last night. And I am so grateful. I'm sure I speak for a lot of people, but the fact that Square Enix reached out and brought you back as both the vocalist and the narrator for the game, for the English title, I believe
when they could have had Kate Blanchett or Nicole Kidman or Toni Collette, but they stuck with me, and I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, did they reach out to you well ahead of time and let you know, hey, we're going to be working on this project and we'd like to bring you back?
And you know, the first thing they said, we're gonna re-record the songs, and then within seconds I'm like, but what about the narration? Are you gonna get me to do the narration? I can still do the narration. So yeah, I've #desperate.
So did they? I didn't know if there was a difference, but did they have you re-record the intro narrations for the stages as well, or was it just the theme song that they remixed?
I think we did re-record.
They did
them. I don't know, because I can't. I'd have to sort of get a forensic audio specialist to sort of check if I did another recording for them in June, and I don't know if they used that or if they used the original.
Okay.
You'd have to speak to Square Enix about that, Sean. Sorry.
So we actually have the credits running right now on Twitch. I don't know if you're able to see, which feature your brand new vocalist arrangement of the song. Which, if you want, we can have it play for about 30 seconds, 60 seconds before I ask you questions about that.
To myself.
Yes. So let's play it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn up the volume so people can listen to it. I believe so. This is also the intro to the game itself.
I played the game yesterday. I started to play the game. It was the old version, so this must be the new version.
Yes, it is. In fact, there's an entire. I noticed. I was singing along to begin, and then it broke into this entire second stanza of new lyrics. And I was like, wait, there's new stuff? What?
There's a lot of drag queens who are really upset with me. The whole act has been.
So I was mentioning earlier, if I may, this is kind of a full circle moment for me because, this is so surreal for me. 17 years ago, when this game first came out, I was 13 years old, and I had a Walkman, one of those ancient, disc-based equipments. And at the time, it had a CD that my friend had burned for me, and like the last half of like the 15 tracks were all anime tracks. But track number 2 was Sound of the Wind, English version, as sung by you. And so many mornings on the bus to school, I would be singing to myself in my little high-pitched voice. Beating of the wings on high, beyond the earth, beyond the sky. Come now, don't hesitate. Don't look back, we've got to go now. And I would end up singing so loud without realizing it that I'd get picked on the bus because the kids would be like, shut up, why are you driving me crazy with your singing? So this is why I'm so glad that you took the time to spend it with us for this interview, because to go from someone who, for me, that narration, that singing was an entire part of the game experience, to being essentially a colleague on the remaster of this game and getting to share that part of my legacy with you.
That's pretty awesome, mate.
It's incredible, and I wanted to say I'm super glad that they brought you back, and I'm super thankful that you took the time to let me have this moment, not just for myself, but for everyone on the stream. So let's jump back into that. As we just mentioned, and this was actually a question brought to me by user Michelle Tan101. So the remastered edition brought along with it a brand new arrangement of The Sound of the Wind. Now, what would you say between this recording and the original? Since you clearly have such an attachment to singing as a storytelling device, how would you describe the feeling of this remixed arrangement versus the original? What is the story, what is the energy that goes behind the vocals you did for this versus the original?
Well, I think when I first got the job, I was so it was like the biggest thing of ever in my career, and when I listened to the 2003 tracks, I sound more innocent. Also in This Morning Sky, it's like
Yeah.
it's a little bit not robotic, but now I'm just like and I'm just freaking going for it. And whereas I think in the original recording,
Would you say an accurate description is that in the original you were more of the storyteller passing down the lore, whereas in this remix you are the person creating the lore in the first place? Go ahead.
No, I feel like I just that sounds very complicated. I just think now I'm singing with more authority.
Ooh.
I'm singing with more I think it's more gentle, and now I have like more empathy, but also more sort of conviction.
Yeah. I almost wonder, maybe subconsciously, as you said, more authority. You know, in the beginning, in the original recording, you were just kind of getting used to the material. This was something brand new.
Yeah,
But now,
yeah.
all these years later, this is something that you're passionate about. This is something that you've grown attached to.
Exactly, and I've sung it lots of times. I've sung it with Ganame Jazz. I've sung it at concerts, and so before it was I had a recording gig, and I rocked up to the recording gig, and I sang a song to the very best of my ability, and I was so thrilled to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, last year when I recorded it, I am singing my song. Okay, I didn't write it. Kumi Tanioka sang it. But,
I know, but
I wrote the lyrics and I adapted the lyrics. But yeah, it's like I've got all these memories of my own, of singing it in Malaysia. Hey Malaysia, singing it in New York. In Japan, I've got chills just saying that now. Like I've got this real love for what the song is and what it means. It's got so many more layers. So and I've always been really proud of these two songs, and it's been a painful sort of disappointment up until now.
Okay.
They weren't well known.
Really?
So not many people knew them. So I do them at concerts, and people were like,
The songs from this game specifically?
yes, the songs from this game specifically. So now, because it was only on one platform, it wasn't on the PS4, it wasn't on, so if you didn't have the GameCube, you didn't get to play it.
Right.
Seems. So now I know that millions, there's so many, YouTube, there's just everything. There's so many platforms that people can hear the music. They can play and now they can play the game, and it looks so much sexier than the 2003 version, right? Like it's just so cute. Sexy.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of the original aesthetic and charm, but I think the main goal was just to clean it up and provide, a seamless experience. Something I think, I don't want to speak on behalf of the company, but I do think the main focus was, let's take what was our biggest focus of this game, but also the most frustrating feature of the game, which was the multiplayer, and make it as easy as possible to just jump in and experience the game with other people. So you mentioned that it definitely was not well known. Were you mostly well known for your work on Metal Gear Solid or on other franchises, or what was the thing that people recognized?
Yes. So I've got I'll have people come to my gigs who've never played a game and they're Shinkansen fans. So every song is like.
Okay.
So I do a train announcement. So, and of course, so many more people have played Metal Gear Solid than up until now Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. So,
right.
So it's really, I can't wait to sing these songs live again and have people like.
So this is definitely going to still be a part of the future tours and concert performances as well.
Oh mate, it'll be headlining. I'll be leaving it to the end.
Is it safe to say
they have to listen to every other song before I get to Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles?
Is it safe to say that the power ballad version of this is here to stay? Do you think you'll ever go back to the original?
We could do a stadium rock version.
A stadium rock version?
Oh,
Oh, you'll definitely have to tell me about that.
the sacred wind. Yeah.
Just be like the screamo metal. Just be
Someone in
like,
Sweden who does
your
this.
heart will see the path. Just wait and see. Do you think you could pull that off?
No, I don't think I could, but I think you could. So
But bring me as your backup singer. I'll be your backup dancer.
Yeah.
I don't care. I won't sing a single word. I'll just be your focal.
no, you'll pull focus as a backup dancer. I wouldn't allow it.
Your music is
It'd be
actually
hilarious as a backup. Everyone would be cracking up.
the soundtrack for the game in general, and in fact, your singing is what actually got me interested into Renaissance festivals. A lot of people liken the soundtrack to this game to Ren Fair music in a loving way.
It really is, yeah.
I distinctly remember that what got me interested in attending was that I convinced a friend's mother that was driving me there to play the soundtrack to this game as we were driving there by telling her it was an album that had been produced for a Renaissance Fest, because I was young and I was embarrassed about saying, oh, it's from a video game, you know. But I was singing.
Wouldn't a lot of the Renaissance people be playing video games?
They might.
Or was that
In general,
a question you couldn't ask?
a lot of people, I wouldn't say it would be fair to pin people who do Renaissance festivals as video game players, because there are a large there's a large amount of people interested in Ren Fairs who are specifically interested in that era, in that timeline of human history, and because that
But I thought lots of games have that in them, so I just thought they'd be loving.
Yeah.
You know, they'd
No, there's
love to play the game and be. Yeah.
There is absolutely some crossover of like the slight, you know, the high fantasy, the middle, you know, the Middle Ages experience of, you know, the Skyrim-esque atmosphere. But I do know that there are a lot of people who are in it for the actual historical element, maybe not so much the gaming element. But it's just good that there's that overlap that allows people of all different types to enjoy it. Getting off of, since we had mentioned the power ballad, tell me about Ganame Jazz. This is a quintet, a quartet that you put together. How did that start up?
It started out about 4 months, a few months after Metal Gear Solid came out, and I was really wanting to perform my game and anime songs. But the only way I ever had it was if I got asked to a God Eater concert, or I got asked to, you know, sing for a video game concert with a symphony orchestra. And I just thought, I just want to have my own band. I don't have to organise, you know, a concert hall and 70 symphony or people from the orchestra. And I want to be able to tour with a small group of people. And jazz, I've sang and performed jazz for more than 30 years, so it just was such a good creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on a jazz gig with the drummer, and he was like, "Oh, you should sing Snake Eater. You should sing." And I'm like this old crowd of oldies. I don't think they're. Nah, I don't think. I think they're here for the. But I was like, wow, he's a fan of Metal Gear Solid, and so then he got a group of his friends together, and then about 6 months later we realized we needed a guitarist to just fill in fill in the sound. So yeah, we've got bass, drums, piano and guitar, and it's been fantastic. And then my team of DAG Music Studio, once we put out our first album, they put a list together of beloved songs that I did not sing, but that game and anime fans would just love to hear again, like Eyes on Me, Cowboy Bebop, Real Folk Blues, Tizanakand. I had never heard Tizanakand until Michael played it for me. So and then I just love those songs, and I love singing them. I just love hearing the crowd go, oh, and it's just so cool. And it's so much easier to tour and perform with 5 people.
That's amazing. I'll have to check that out sometime. I wasn't aware of it until right before this interview, but I've always been a really big fan of jazz, and as someone in chat said, they actually have one of your Ganame Jazz CDs, so I'll definitely have to do more research on it.
Yeah, it's good.
Getting back into the singing narration side of things, this was actually meant to be one of my first questions, but hey, you know what? I enjoy that we've
You're
been
the
able to have
host.
this
You can do what you want.
organic conversation. No, I've been having a blast so far. What would you say was your click moment, your moment of realization? What was your introduction to voiceover and singing as a career, and what was that moment where it hit you that this is what I want to be doing? This is where my interest lies. Do you have memory of that?
I think it was on the Shenmue recording where I got paid like $1,000 to say 5 lines. I got to sit in a room. I was paid to sit in a room with 4 other actors and just have a chat. And then they said, come in. I literally did 5 lines, and I thought, wow, this beats teaching English. And I'm being a bit facetious. It's been my dream since I was a child to be singing and acting. So, and for me, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles was where I got to do the 2 things I love to do, voice acting and singing. So I was so proud. Up until then, my biggest job, I think, was singing for a Gundam movie, the song called After All, and also acting, doing the voice acting and the motion capture for Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
But, and in Silent Hill 2, they wouldn't give me a song. I'm like, I'm a singer, give me a song. I can sing. Very good. Here's my CD. Nothing
At all.
And so finally, the universe heard my prayer, and I got to sing and do voice in Final Fantasy.
What was the process of getting yourself out there in Japan, especially since you, as you've mentioned, you don't have as firm a knowledge of the Japanese language as you'd like? How did you manage to integrate your experience with the English side of performance with the Japanese work culture from where you lived?
Well, the Japanese in voice acting and singing, you just booked for a job and it lasts for 2 hours. So there's no sort of work culture, or it's not like I was a salary man and I had to, join Square Enix and just work myself. And so I started off doing a lot of singing at weddings in Japan. And from that, I got into TV commercial singing, like session singer, and doing and back in those days, no one wanted an Australian accent. So I had to talk with an American accent and go for jobs and pretend that I was from the US. Or I had to pretend I was from England and, hello, my name's Emma Thompson. Sure, yes, it says I'm Australian, but I was educated in British.
Let's set the
bullshitted my way into the job.
So let's set the record straight for all those wannabe folks who say, oh, I can do a British accent, I can do an Australian accent. What is the core difference between British and Australian? If nothing else, in order to not make a fool of ourselves, what is the core difference? Maybe you can go ahead.
There's so many different British accents. So you're going to talk about the Queen, who doesn't open her mouth very much, and she sort of talks like that. Or you talk like people like that, from Essex, and I got a carpenter around yesterday, and he made a new staircase. So there's so many variations in. It's like saying an American.
That's true.
And then someone does a cowboy accent, and you're like, no, we don't all talk like that.
Right.
Or from New York, and everyone's like, nah.
That's actually what you just did is literally what my aunt from New York sounds like. That was spot on. You actually caused the flashbacks to hit like really hard. I remember when she would, you just go eat the peas out in the front yard,
You don't have an accent. I remember this Canadian woman was like saying that. It's like, I don't have an accent. You have an accent.
Fun fact, and this is kind of how I got that blessing. When a lot of one thing I learned from doing a lot of narrations for foreign clients is when they say American accent, what they actually tend to mean is a Midwestern accent.
Yeah.
Because the Midwestern accent has that sort of it has the warmth of the country folk, but it isn't as harsh as some Southern accents can be. So as someone who spent most of his life growing up in Michigan, they were like, yes, we find that American Midwest accents sound very calm and professional and regal. And I went, well, good news.
Yeah.
I'm a Michigan boy.
I'm practically Canadian.
I'm practically Canadian. We got that effort, A+ for effort. That's really fun. Let me see. So tying that into what you did for Crystal Chronicles, specifically the narrations that you did for each stage, if you remember, what was your approach to embodying the story that you were telling as you narrated? Did you see yourself as someone telling a story to a younger individual? Were you sharing a story to a group? Did you pull inspiration from stories you were told by somebody else? Where was your headspace for those narrations?
My headspace is I'm a wise woman who's had seen everything, but still hopeful, full of love, and kind-hearted, and soothing. So that was like a motherly instinct.
I noticed that there was that element of soothing going throughout the different stages. I know that you mentioned you weren't super familiar with the game, but there's a rundown. I'm gonna actually see if I can get to there in game so we can listen to that narration. But there's a destroyed former village known as Tipa. That used to be one of the hosts of the Caravanners. And your narration for that is kind of, you keep that soothing voice even though you're talking about, this was a group of people that used to exist and they held out hope to the bitter end, but they all perished. I'm like, this is a game for kids. So it's really interesting that you mentioned
because
that.
they didn't do their homework.
They didn't do their homework.
Yep, they didn't brush their teeth. And that's what happens. You will all perish.
Oh, it looks like I accidentally moved your video hold on. It looks like something happened with the Zoom call. So let me see if I can fix it real quick. It glitched real bad. Let me see if I can fix your video real quick. Windows, Zoom meeting. Oh, that's even worse. Hold on. We had a little glitch on your video real quick, so I'm gonna see if I can refresh it and get your video back.
Yeah, it looks like that my colleague there's nothing on Twitch at the moment.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get that back. That just popped out of nowhere. So.
Oh, your laptop died. Oh, okay, I can fix that.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, sorry.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah, phew. Here you go. Where is it? I've got a big... I have a...
We had just a small technical difficulty. Someone's laptop died, so the Zoom meeting is no longer there as intended. I will see if I can fit this in the process. Let me see if I can get a temporary replacement. So I will go ahead and restart this window capture. And great. Thank you everyone for your patience while we get this back together. Right, we gotta fill in. We gotta fill in with some.
Hold on to this Twitch stream.
But that just adds to the organicness. Nothing's perfect, so we'll figure it out. So I will go back in, window capture. Thank you, everyone, for your patience in the meantime. For those of you who want to follow, I do believe Donna Burke does have her own Twitch channel. It is Donna Burke. I'll actually... Oh, you're never on it?
No. Never on it.
Let's see. Oh. See if we can get... I know it was set to Zoom meeting, so we'll see if we can get it back. Capture method... Yeah, so we do have a replacement video in the meantime. It's a lot grainier than the old one, if you can see, but hopefully we can get but as they say, you know, singing and voice acting, it's all about the voice. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the face. So
Actually, I've got all my jobs for my good looks, so yeah, I think this is really tragic. People can't see me. Wow.
well, we'll hopefully they'll be able to get the decent quality back, but in the meantime, you know, no harm done. We've got you here. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So do you remember a lot about any specific stages that you narrated for? Is there, maybe if you're able to describe it, is there any particular narration that stuck in your head that you talked about a certain group, a certain history? Is there any particular narration that is stuck in your head, and maybe we can try and find it in game and play it live for people?
Oh.
I'll head to Tipa in the meantime, the one that I mentioned, and we'll get that narration live.
Yeah.
I'll probably show the one that I just mentioned. I'll head to the stage.
Basically, I'm reading the script off an Excel file when I did it.
Mm-hmm. I'm very familiar with that.
Yep. So, I'm just conjuring up using my imagination. So, yeah.
Well, while I stall for time, you mentioned before how you believe that they may have had you re-record, but you're not sure if they used the new recordings, at least for the narrations.
Yeah.
Was there any pressure to try and match your original performance? Were you nervous about if you...
Only for myself, because I really wanted to. So I just went on YouTube and listened to my previous tone and matched that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually... You can, on YouTube tomorrow, you can go on and watch me play the new Final Fantasy for the first time.
You're going to be playing it? Like fresh? So where can people follow you?
An edited version, because if you actually put the full version on, it would be...
oh, the copyright?
Like, which button? No, not that. It's just like, which button? And I'm... Like, they're saying, what's your character's name? And so...
Okay.
So it would be so it's been edited. It's probably going to be comic gold. It's me reacting to hearing my voice in the game, and it should be a bit of fun. So check that out on YouTube.
I can help break you in, because we're going to be visiting the town in a second, and we'll get to experience that. But also, chat had to correct me. It is Tida is the town that gets destroyed. Tipa is the canon name of your caravan, your starting town. So I apologize for
Thank you for that sort of for being corrected.
I've lost my passionate gamer card.
I can see the crystal. I'm watching Twitch right now. I'm watching the stream right now. There's someone walking along.
Yeah.
They're approaching.
And in fact, we just had
now loading.
Now we've got one of the cutscenes going on. So this is one of the new features of the remastered edition. There is voice acting for all of these little cutscenes that happen. So this used to be just text and
yeah.
So let's take a listen to that real quick.
We're gonna listen to you.
No.
A few days ago, a monster attacked us from behind. We barely survived the encounter. So, do take care to watch your back. Remember, you journey not for yourself alone, but for everyone in your village. Their lives depend on your safe return with
Even if you turn up the Elgato feed on the stream, or I've got the stream feed going up a lot, so if you're tuned into the stream itself, I'll ask chat, does it sound like the audio's coming through the microphone again, or are you hearing it loud and clear, chat? This is something that happened back when we were streaming the main game, so I'll make sure that it's working as intended. Okay, they're saying it sounds fine, so
I think it is, yeah.
All right.
Hi, Donna. Vivian Marv, 1232. I think I know her.
Yeah.
I'm reading people's comments.
So we are getting pretty close to the top of the hour, so I'll do my best to showcase this. Just ask a couple more questions, and then if you're willing, I believe there's an area I can head to where you'll be able to hear one of my characters. And then I think we'll call it an interview. But if you need a hard out at 10, or at whatever the top of the hour is, just let me know. But here is your narration for the village of Tida. So I'll see if you remember this one at all.
The sun once smiled on this village, more than any other. But one day, their crystal's blessing faded. The villagers eagerly awaited their caravan's return, But for them,
Trying to find the script.
the crystal would never
Yeah,
shine
is
again.
the stream audio not coming through for you? Or
No, because
It is
not yours,
said
it's my technical
that
problems, so don't
not
worry
a
about that.
single one of them tried to escape.
Okay.
All
I barely
stood
heard anything,
fast,
but I'm going to be like, wow.
waiting for the caravan
Oh, that
hoping.
takes me back.
to the very end.
Oh, yeah, oh,
well, the good news is
After
there.
my
hearing
God.
that
The good news
tale,
is there will be a VOD for this. There's
I
a video
felt
on
the
demand
weight
once
of
the
my
once the
burden
stream finishes. So
like
I
never
can send the link
before.
to the email, give you the timestamp. You can go back and listen to it and be like, yes, perfect, amazing,
but anyway,
incredible.
let's just pretend I heard that. Oh,
All right. So since we aren't able to jump straight to that, did they have you? They asked if there was any nervousness. In general, what would you say is the most vocally challenging work that you've done in your career? Whether it was just something that you were completely out of your element, whether it was just vocally intense and it was gonna wear you down no matter how well you did it. What was the biggest challenge for you so far?
singing Sins of the Father.
And why is that?
It's so vocally challenging. So it's singing and it's the content is very harrowing and emotionally draining, and it's the most being in good condition to sing that song. I can sing anything.
I see. What's your method for vocal rest after you've done something intense like that? Do you have a cool down period or a specific routine you go through in order to preserve your throat?
Oh, I never thought about that. No, I just walk back to the dressing room and go, I nailed it, or I could have done better.
Well, if I can offer my unprofessional advice, have you heard of a honey loquat called Ninjam Pepakoa, Chinese throat coat? In Los Angeles, they refer to it as Hulk juice. Yes. Because the voice act. Go ahead.
When I was in LA and recording Sins of the Father, they offered that to me. Yeah. But I just hydrate a lot. I drink a lot of water, like 2 or 3 days before.
I'm so upset you brought that up. On my Twitch, there's people can spend points in order to make the streamer do certain things, and we have one that's called Hydrate the Homie, where people can spend 500 points to force me to take a sip of water, make sure I stay hydrated from this giant crowd. Oh, here they come. If you look on
That's
Twitch chat,
nice.
you're probably gonna see a bunch of people. Here we go. So, thank you for reminding everyone to keep me hydrated.
I don't need to hear it.
All right. Well, let's do the lightning round for a couple last questions.
Hydrated homie, I love it.
Hydrate the homie. So let's do the lightning round for these last couple of questions. On screen, what you can see, if you see that adorable little fuzzball hanging next to my character, that is what's called a Moogle. And Moogle are these little they're these creatures in Final Fantasy. They got these little pom-poms above their head. Many of them are capable of speech. They're often extremely cute. Some of them have special powers. What would you name one of these if you could have one as a pet?
A Moogle?
A Moogle. M-O-O-G-L-E.
What would I name a Moogle? I would name a Moogle Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn. And these Moogles, or especially the ones in the game, are shown to be capable of like carrying things around for you. Would you have
Gwen? Could you get me that? Gwen?
Yeah,
Could you get me?
yeah. Would Gwendolyn be your gopher?
If she's been very naughty, you call her Gwendolyn. If you're happy with it, you say, come on, Gwenny, let's do this.
Aww.
There's so many levels with Gwendolyn, I think. It's also a name that I'd call a cat. So,
All right. Question number 2. What is your big addiction right now? What is the thing? It's like for me, it was the 19-hour stream that I did playing this game from start to finish. What is your big focus right now that you've been doing?
addiction. Oh.
Whether it's like a mobile game or just something that you spend a lot of your free time on, or if it's a restaurant that you've been going to.
Drinking cups of tea. Every morning I have about 4 cups of organic black tea with skim organic milk, and even if it's like 35 degrees, which is like 100 degrees in your world, I'm gonna have my cup of tea. So yeah, that's my addiction.
All right. For people who are big fans of your vocalist or your narration work, where is the best place to keep up to date on your newest pursuits, creations, everything else?
I'm big on Twitter. I use Twitter a lot, and I like talking to people on that. And not so much on Facebook and Instagram. And I've started writing some articles. So if you go to donnaburke.com, you can read some articles I've just recently published about Final Fantasy, some behind the scenes photos of the recording last year, some advice I give to people about being voice actors. And of course, I love YouTube. And tomorrow I'm going to have a new video of me playing Final Fantasy on YouTube. So YouTube's fun, I think. I like to have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah. And did you? I'm sorry. I'm trying to start a new file so we can. The last thing I'm gonna have us do, since you said you're unfamiliar with the game, if I can jump ahead a bit, I'm gonna see if we can have you tell us what character you would create to represent yourself in the game. You had already Did you already mention your YouTube username so that people can follow you for tomorrow?
It's I think it's Donna Burke Official.
Donna Burke Official. All right. And is that the same? Your Twitter is DB_singer_actor. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
All right.
Oh yeah, but YouTube, you can write comments and I'll always read them and answer them.
Okay. So I think how we'll finish this up is I'll ask you this one last question. We'll enjoy the intro with your singing one last time. And then we'll end up
I can't get enough of myself.
I know.
Sean.
We'll end up at the character creation screen. We'll have you pick what you would create for your character, the official Final Fantasy Donna Burke Caravaner, and we'll call it a wrap. Does that work for you?
Yay, sounds fun.
All right. So, as a person, as a professional, is there anything that you would like to say to everyone that is out there now reliving a classic, what many call one of the hidden gems of the early 2000s in this new remastered edition? What would you like to say to those folks who are now either reliving this experience that they grew attached to, myself included, or are about to discover you, your work, the world of Crystal Chronicles? What would you like to say? This is your platform.
Thanks, guys. Without fans and without your comments, I don't get to know you. So I'm really grateful that when you spend the time to connect with me. And for the guys and girls who played the game back 17 years ago, thank you. And for all the newbies, thank you too.
All right. So if you will permit me, I'm going to go ahead and let the opening song, as provided by you, take over for the rest of this intro. See that? Your audio will work. It's going to take me a while to memorize this version of it. But I'll tell you what, for you, Donna, I will learn how to own it.
Yeah, I just sing it I recorded the new version in my spare bedroom, and that's going to be up on YouTube on September the 2nd when the official soundtrack comes out.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let me turn that down a bit. You said the official soundtrack is being released, or?
Yeah, on September the 2nd.
For Crystal Chronicles?
Yeah!
What platforms?
Yeah. What platforms? That's a good question. I know Square Enix is on Spotify, but the physical release will be in Japan being released. So I can't put my new versions up until that's out.
So there's a friend of mine who lives in Japan, and I try not to use her as a delivery import person too much, but now that you've mentioned that, color! So she's in chat going, I want it too. I want it super bad.
Yeah, September the 2nd, isn't it exciting? Yeah, and especially because the physical release is difficult to get of the actual game. So my
friend who lived in Japan, she says, if I buy it, can I mail it to you and have you sign it, or can I either visit or send it to your agent and have it signed? Would you be willing to autograph it for me?
Sure. You can talk to Vivian later, Sean.
Okay. Am I good to give them the email?
I will own your soul, but
it means that you what?
I will own your soul.
I'm pretty sure they would be 100% okay with that. So am I good to provide the agent email that I contacted for the interview, or is that private? What would be the best way for?
Private.
Okay.
You talk to Vivian later, and
okay.
And then we'll work something out.
Yeah, I'll reach out and see if, because I know that there's folks who are part of my Discord server that would be interested. I'll see if there's a public piece of info that I can give out that folks who would like to get in
Because it
contact.
sounds to me that sounds like I'm throwing Vivian under the bus, where she'll
Okay.
have to get all these things, and then
That makes sense. That makes sense.
so yeah.
Is there a website? Because, like, for example, for a lot of voice actors in Los Angeles, there are websites where people can purchase prints to be autographed and mailed to them. Do you have
Well,
any?
we used to have it, and because of COVID, we have stopped that because for a very weird reason, Japan Post is not. I cannot post anything to my mum in Australia.
That's
So
unfortunate.
it's like let's wait until you see me at a GameCom in 2022 or 2023, and we'll sign everything then.
All right. Well, we have managed to stall for enough time, and we are here to create our first character. So Donna, if you will humor me, if you're viewing Twitch right now, so this is what you'll be presented with tomorrow. They're gonna have you build your caravan, and they'll say, you have 4 different races that you can build. Are you able to see okay on the?
I'm about to see Twitch. Someone's going to hand me a phone with it on. No. Sorry.
No,
I'm not able to see.
you're not able
Unless
to see.
you share your screen.
I can share my screen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might be able to. Let me see if there's an option on Zoom for me to adjust my settings
it says,
there.
at the very bottom, it says a green button that says share screen.
Share screen. Nope, that's the video. Hold on. Donna Burke. It's not giving me the option right now. Home chat settings, meetings, return to meeting. There we go. Share screen. There we go. Share. Are you seeing that right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it comes at the cost of people not being able to see you anymore, but I think that's a fair trade-off.
Okay. Okay, let me go back. I've got it here as well. So
Oh, you've got.
I've got it now.
Okay,
So,
so we can stop share, see if that brings back. Properties.
She went poof. That's fine. No touchy till pandemic over.
Okay.
Oh, it's funny to read people's comments. Yeah.
All right. So as you can see, the game will have you build your caravan, and there's 4 races that you're able to pick between. There's the Clavets. They typically operate farmland.
No, I'm going Clavets.
You're definitely going Clavet
I'm
right
going
away.
Clavets. Yep. I
Uh,
want the Clavet with a cowlick.
oh.
I did this yesterday.
Oh.
I want a cowlick.
Okay, so you're going classic right now. So we've got the Clavet, male Clavet with the cowlick.
Oh, I didn't know there's a female.
There are females. So let me.
I'll go female. Yeah.
So maybe that might change. So they have male and female versions of each race that you're able to see here. And they normally had 4 options that you could do for hairstyles and color palette, but they added a 5th one as part of the remastered edition. So we'll go to the Clavets, and we'll take a look at the females. Are there any that jump out to you? We've got the white cap, the dark coat, the short hair, the long hair. I'm partial to long hair, but
You're moving it really fast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'll-
wait, stop. Go back.
okay.
Go back. No, another one. Yeah, I want that one.
The ribbon? This one right here with the pink hair?
No, go the other way. The
Okay.
one, yeah, that's it. The one in the middle. The girl in the middle.
The dark coat
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
I do. I like the way the back of her head looks. Yeah.
So adorable.
Now, would you go with a higher pitch voice or a lower? Would you see her as someone who is protecting her homeland, and is more concerned about family, or is she like?
Yes. I want to look cute but sound authoritative.
Sorry, you want to look cute but also kick butt?
Yeah.
Fire!
I want it all.
Fire! Blizzard!
So it's probably something a little bit more intense. Probably is not coming through your phone, but you can pick between different voice types.
Blizzard.
You might want to check out if you do this exact thing tomorrow. Check out voice type 1. Voice 4 is way more aggressive. Like they're definitely like the hardened battle ready. But voice 1 kind of has this. Let me listen to it.
Blizzard!
She's someone who's kind of being put into a situation where she has to fight, but she's
No,
taking it
I want
full
to go
bore.
aggressive.
You want aggressive?
The kick butt.
Fire!
Yeah.
Blizzard! Blizzard!
If you want to be cute.
Mrs. Nice Girl. I
If
want to
you-
be cute and kick butt and sound aggressive.
All right, so between those two, if you want to lean more towards cute, but with butt kicking as a side thing, voice number 3, I think will be up your alley.
Okay, well,
But
then
if-
we'll go with voice 3 then.
If you want to kick more butt, but also be cute while doing it, I would check out voice number 4. But with that being said, I think we have spent plenty of time on here. I think for folks who want to figure out what family tree you'll take, they should tune in. One more time, let me know where should people tune in tomorrow if they want to see you play this?
Donna Burke Official on YouTube.
Donna Burke Official on YouTube.
And looking forward to seeing all your comments.
Of course, if you're interested, the VOD for this will be up on my channel. I can send a link to the same email that I used to set up the interview, and you can see the comments happen in real time for people who were responding. But Donna, thank you so much
My pleasure.
once again.
And thanks to everyone for tuning in, and stay safe. And looking forward to seeing you in reality one day at a concert.
Don't be like the people of Tita. You know, practice social distancing. Take care of yourselves. Don't wait too long so that you don't end up like that village that ended up getting destroyed.
And watch your teeth.
Wash your teeth. All right, everyone. That'll do it for this interview.
right.
Donna, take
Good
care.
night.
Good luck with your concerts. And happy caravanning.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
Take care. All right, everybody. I believe she's going to be on her way out. I'm going to see if I can end the Zoom call. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This might be doubling up on the Elgato feed. But I hope this was entertaining for you all. I'm still kind of shaking a little bit. I'm hoping that this was enjoyable for everybody. Two Seans. I'm the male Donna Burke. We're going to be narrating this now. But I have to do some switching over. It's time for us to do some Dragalia. So bear with me while I set up with my alliance mates in Dragalia Lost, and we'll come back in about 10-15 minutes for some Tartarus. So thank you guys. We'll be back in about 10-15, so sit tight.